Particular topic is something that I so enjoy. I enjoy it so much. I love it so much. And it's something that I see, have worked in different brands, in different businesses. And I say, you know what? Let us bring it right here and then have that conversation today. Good afternoon to you. Hope your morning was beautiful, as beautiful as mine right here in the studio. And I hope you did something productive. Well, if you have not done anything today, do not worry. I understand that we're still carrying on. You're still basking in the euphoria of the weekend. So you just want to, just keep being lazy. But please, that's not allowed. Get up and get busy and do something, of course. Now, today's topic for the workstation is the art of storytelling in business and creating brand awareness. So if you have a friend that has a friend and is looking forward to have, a very successful business, this is one angle that I have tried and tested many times and can tell you for a fact that it does work. Gather them together right here and tell them to get tuned into Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, your radio experience you can count on and listen to these conversations. Now, before we go ahead, they're not in the city of Abuja. They own a business and you want them to be a part. Do not worry. They can visit our website on www.eaglesfm.com and download our app on iOS and Play Store. Then you can also link with us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter and TikTok at Eagles FM Abuja. Now, you can also go over there, at the end of the hour, you download and then send to them as a gift for today. Now, we as human beings, we love storytelling a lot. Humans love stories. We as human beings, we love stories a lot. And, they're how we make sense of the world with stories. Someone comes and tells you many years from now, this place you're sitting, do you know it used to be a farmland. Our fathers hunted on this land and blah, 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 blah. It makes us be able to relate to our environment. They're how we make sense of the world. Now, stories present, events and actions in a timeline, and it allows us to follow cause and effect. It also helps us see how different events relate to each other. So someone will want to tell you about history, wants to tell you about something that is happening right now. The person can tell you 10 years ago, this thing happened. It is a grudge between this clan, and that's why you see that clash happening right now. They help us relate different events and teach us how these events relate to each other. Now, as stories progress, what happens when you're telling someone a story? We want to know more. For those people who tell their children bedtime stories, their loved ones. When you stop at a particular point, they say, what happened next? What's going to happen now? What happened? What did he do? What did he say? This is what storytelling, does. We want to know more. We want to know what happened. Who hasn't stayed up very past their usual bedtime reading stories? Even in school then, when it's lights out, you see people under their blankets with lights trying to catch up on one story to another, or watching one series or another. Storytelling is an integral part of human existence. Now, in business, when you launch a business, it's very important for you to have a compelling story to tell. Nobody's saying you should lie, but every business should be able to tell a story. It's important to have a compelling story to tell. Now, this was not always the case, as people will buy to a business or will key into, the running of a business as per need, right? It wasn't always the case. Go back to a few decades and, all that mattered was having a product or a service that was different. But how the landscape is so, structured that having a good story to tell about your business can help you get noticed, attract investors to take a chance with you and help build your brand is something that just became of, public notice and relevance. Many years from now, these things do not matter. It moves from setup to event. There's a climax, and then there's a denouement. We know this for those literature students and all of that. Storytelling. It is structured to captivate or capture your interest. You keep progressing from one event to another, from one event to another. There's a climb, even in movies as well. Movies tell stories, and that is why this is one of the most successful industries in the world today. Movies, production of movies, songs, they tell stories. This is why people buy into it. And now it is now gradually being put into the business space where every brand is created to tell a story. Everyone tells stories. Stories are how we communicate as human beings. In your office where people go to take lunch, there's always that locker room. You see people gather together where you share stories. You talk about what you did over the weekend, how your favorite sports team played, and the funny things your kids also did during, the weekend. For those who are married, even kids, they tell each other stories. They're in different classes. They come together and say what happened in their class. You set up a story by laying out the situation. Now, this gives the listeners points of reference to understand what to expect in the story. Now, why is storytelling in business? Why storytelling in business works? Stories work because, we expect them to lead us somewhere, to resolve, and then the listener or reader knows that a resolution is coming. If a story is interesting enough, that person will want to hear more and will even ask questions such as what happened next. Like we said earlier, this should be the goal when drafting a business story. I want to know more. For a business, when you're starting a business, I want to know more. What happened next? Foster an engaged audience that seeks more information from you, the storyteller. I'm trying to pick up an example right now as regards telling stories in business. There are many. I was going through my phone one time and I saw all the ads that I used to love as a kid. Starting from noodles to a certain milk company. We sang and danced along to all of those songs and all of those stories, those adverts at that time. I will not forget that particular one where it was a footballer and he was always playing with the ball, dribbling in the compound and all of that. And then the mother tells him, one day you will make us proud. That might not be the exact story of the brand, but that is a story that was used to communicate the relevance of the brand. So, stories work because your mind expects to follow patterns, and we are reassured when they do. Humans have empathy, and they can project themselves into the story, sharing feelings with the characters and often wanting to know if the characters would act the same way they would. Now, understanding the elements of effective storytelling and why they work is the first step of learning the art of storytelling in business. I'll take that. Understanding the elements of effective storytelling, like capturing the attention of the audience, giving them a relatable story. This is the first step in learning the art of storytelling in business. Storytelling in business is successful when it makes the business look human. It's a business that people can relate to, unlike with faceless multinational corporations. The story of a business founded by one or two people is the story of people and how they want and how what they do is helping individuals, businesses, and communities. It is that personal element that you need to highlight when mastering the art of storytelling in business. Even in politics, we see this play out. When a certain president, part of the campaign videos he made was displaying children without shoes, children going to school, children, without school bags and looking tattered and all of that. And then he says, if I cannot go to school, you will go to school. If I didn't have shoes, you will have shoes. If I don't have clothes on my back, you will have clothes on your back. So it made that particular candidate look human, like someone who has gone through where you are right now. And you can, most definitely put yourself in the shoes of that person. So he used the art of storytelling to campaign to you the reason you should vote him into office. It is important in politics. It is important in businesses. It is an important part of our lives. We cannot do without storytelling. And that is why using that tool, storytelling, in your business is very important. Now, a lot of people will say, why do I need to master the art of storytelling in business? When you are selling your business to investors, right? Or, on a website where you want to highlight your brand, the history of your business and the values of your business, you use a different technique. You tell its life story, its biography. And now you see someone, the person says, I'm opening up a school. Yesterday I just found the story of Liberty University in the United States, and that story was about a man who wanted to go to school. He couldn't go to school, and rather than just allow himself be there, he now used that his experience to educate other people, saying, look at what is within you, look at what is inside of you, and try to bring that out, make the most of your innate abilities, and then, you can excel. He went round and round the United States, preaching this gospel of looking within you, taking out your potentials and using them to do something much more important and relevant than what you're doing right now. And then he was paid in thousands. He was paid in thousands of dollars. Then he went about looking for partners. What story was he going to sell? I couldn't go to school, so I want to build this university, so much so that even the least person in this community can afford education. That is a brand story. Some people say, yes, I'm starting a clothing brand. The reason I'm starting a clothing brand is because I've seen lots of people not dressed properly. People struggle with the fact that people struggle with not knowing what to wear for every occasion. Now I'm starting this clothing brand because I can tell you what to wear in every situation. You are going for office meeting, I can tell you what to wear. You want to attend a party, I can tell you what to wear. I can style you. People come up with these things. This is their story. These are their stories. I created this brand because I struggled with this thing. And now that I have mastered the art of this thing that I have struggled with over the years, I want to teach you. Now you will pay me to teach you. Brand stories, storytelling is very important. It is very important. Now, if you are able to tell this story, if you are able to, what's your business story, basically? Did you start your business in a basement or a garage or in a hut or in a beach? What drove you and your co-founders to start your business? This is how you develop the story. Don't say that you wanted to change the world. That's very vague, and that's very basic. I wanted to change the world. The world is suffering this and this. And let it be specific. Let it be something that at least I can tell you 7 of 10 girls struggle with. They can have a wardrobe full of clothes, but still do not know what to wear. So if I say that my life's goal is to help you pick outfits for every occasion, suitable for every occasion, you can relate to that because it's something that you are facing right now. So I'm not selling clothes as just commodities. I'm selling them, based on how they can contribute to eliminating the stress a person goes through to picking an outfit. So what made you get into that business? What made you gather people together as per co-founders now to start a business? The goal of every business, every right-thinking business, should be to change the world. So that's why I said it's a vague reason. What is your personal reason? Talk about how you wanted to simplify something, make something better, or improve the way a service is provided to people so they can save money or live a more fulfilling life. Talk about all these things. Tell how you wanted to create something that matches your values and your ethics. I saw a clothing brand one time, and the person was talking about how people have lost their values. They dress how they want, they go out, they look how they want. So the theme of her own fashion brand is upholding modesty. Now she's creating brands that are fully covered but are very appealing to the eyes. That is the story of her brand. And that she created something that matched her values and her ethics. So you need to highlight personalities. What makes you a founder? What makes you as a founder and your team so perfectly suited for this business? Most times people pick the fact that they have gone through something like this, and that is why they came up with these ideas. Why could the company not exist without you and your team? What drives you to take risk? What events in your lives prompted you to launch into this business? This is why you need to master the art of storytelling in business, so that you can communicate the values, the vision of your brand effectively to a wider and a larger demographic. Before now, things like this didn't matter, like I said. You just go to the market, you buy what you want to do, and then you have exited the place. Now we have technology. It has now given us the ability, the capacity to reach out to a large and wider audience. So I can be in Nigeria and I'm selling to the United States. I can be in the United States and I'm selling to Ghana. I can be right there and I'm selling to Nairobi. Because technology has connected us all in a way. And now it is now imperative for us to tell stories to be able to reach out to a larger audience, which will in turn affect the, market participation of our products and our goods or our services. Now, let me tell you how the art of storytelling in business creates brand awareness. I put down this story so that, we can share. Now, there's this lady in Seattle. This is a country in the United States. Her name is Alice Weatherby. Now, she started selling pickles and jams and, let me not use the brand. This bread spreads for bread. She was selling all of those things. She was making all of those things, at a farmer's market in Seattle as a way of making some extra money. She had these twins and she wanted to look after these twins properly, and she wanted to give them quality food. So she used the best ingredients to make food for them. But as a way of making extra cash and extra money, she was also selling at the farmer's market in Seattle. So she has always wanted the best ingredients for the food she made for her kids. So she sourced the finest organic products, fruits and vegetables from the local farmers, where she was selling, creating a relationship between those who work on the land. It's a farmland, right? Those who work on the land and people who ate her food. So you see, she used one stone to kill two birds. She was working on the farmland. She was obviously going to get cheaper and how many of us will go to the market and buy rotting? You want to buy fruits, you buy rotten fruits. Nobody will. But she was very particular about that. She went to the farm where people were cultivating the land because she wanted the best ingredients for the food she made for her kids. So she sourced them, the finest of them, of fruits and vegetables from the local farmers. And now she was creating a relationship between those who work on the farmland, that is the farmers, and the people who ate her food. Now, Alice, she made her products, she makes them at the basement of her house. And now she struggled to meet demand. Her pickles were so successful that, she got to open a store downtown of the city where she was, and what spread about the quality of her foods and her insistence on using only the finest ingredients. People started to know her for that. So it's more like saying, if you want to buy food from Martha, she's definitely going to use the finest of ingredients. She's going to use the most quality product to make her food. So she started becoming famous because she only used quality ingredients to make her food, and her insistence on using only the finest ingredients. So she started to seek funding to expand her business to different states, which is a normal, life cycle of every business. When you have dominated a city, you look for how to spread to other cities to start running a more effective business. So she decided to start seeking funding to expand, to different states and to start selling online as well. So she has always been very clear. If she had the opportunity to go to an interview, she would always say that she would never compromise on the quality of her ingredients, no matter how big the company becomes. And the food she makes will always be good enough to feed her own children. So as long as she cannot feed her children with it, she would never be able to give it to somebody else. And this was Alice's business story. This was her business story. I want to give only good foods to my children. I want to use only the best ingredients for my children. So if I will do that and I will sell it to you, know that it's the same quality I eat in my house. That is the same quality I'll be giving out. Now, when she went out to seek, for funding from other businesses to expand, this was her story. And now be honest, listening to this story, do you think it's something that people will buy into or not? Everybody likes quality. Everybody likes a brand that is relatable. Everybody likes a brand that has integrity and people know them for something. So Alice was able to expand beyond Seattle, the city where she was occupying at that time. She expanded to other cities because she used the story of her brand, the progression of her brand. She used that story, coupled it together, and that was the marketing document she took to all of the investors she was seeking to have invest in her business. So storytelling is very important for your brand. Storytelling is very important to create awareness to people about what you do. No matter what you do, even if you're selling bells, like my bell in the studio, you're selling bells, right? There's always a nostalgic feeling you have when you see all of those local bells. Because in school then, that bell meant authority. Some people used to shiver when they saw all those bells at that time because it symbolizes the start of something and the end of something. So people, if you create a story around that bell, people can relate to it and now want to patronize you and hear more of what you have to say. So no matter how small your business is, some people might be selling flip-flops. There is definitely going to be a story right there. Some people will be selling even bubble gums. There's always going to be a story. If you look at how you started, what motivated you, how far you have come, what made you bring all of those people together, and what makes you, fit enough to start the business, then you have a business story that you can run with. And now seeing, this time where we are, a lot of people don't have brand stories. They don't even know where they're going to with their brands. So it's very difficult. If I don't know where I'm going to, it's difficult for me to convince somebody else to follow me. The person will ask me to where. And if I cannot answer to where, they will leave me right there in the middle of that journey because I do not have anywhere I'm going to. I have no story to tell them. So storytelling gives you the ability to gather people together, to listen to the value you're communicating, and then they can decide from your story whether or not to continue on the journey with you or not. So right, people, I want to catch my breath. I've talked a lot. 38 minutes gone past the hour of 12, and you're still tuning to Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Your radio experience you can count on. It's the workstation, and we're talking about the art of storytelling in business to create brand awareness. If you leave me, I will be talking and talking and talking because I told you it's a topic that, I can't resonate to, and it's something that I enjoy talking about as well. But do not go anywhere. Let me catch my breath for a little bit, and then we'll get back into the story or the other part of the conversation since we're, almost out. Do not go anywhere.
The vibe is about to be lit. Don't you just love good music? I know you do. I don't really care if you're older. On Eagles 102.3 FM.
sideways. Me, I know come Lagos for child's play. So I say, them they find me. For the long time, I've been silent. I get run out, I've been styling. But they think say I'm in hiding, cause they don't know how to find me. I'll be on no Zumba, by the way. 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 Coming to you. Coming to you. Well, if you say you be giant for your pocket. If you only fight for your pocket, for your pocket. October 2020, something happened with the government. That is say we forget for where? For Zumba, by the way. Man, I tell ya, I know they move that way. I know they move that way. Don't make me move that way. No, I'm not built that way. Far across Gaza, look at my sideways. Now I know come niggas for child's play. In the meantime, I'll be coming. How you want time, make you tell me. If you need speed, I'll be sterling. I go right behind the steering. I go run up, can you share me? I'll be on no Zumba, by the way. 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 Coming to you.
Right, people. Of course, welcome back. It's still Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. It is your radio experience you can count on. It's Matha of the Midday Extra Show, still hanging out with you. And yes, we are having conversations centered around the art of storytelling in business and creating brand awareness. We talked about how stories are structured and why storytelling in business works. It always does work. It always works, I promise you, because telling your story to people, lets them tap into, your goal and where you're coming from. They always want to know what next. I'm that kind of person that you don't tell, I want to tell you something. Don't do that. It's either you start talking immediately or don't tell me until you're ready to tell me what the full gist is about. So we like stories. This is how human beings are wired. See, something that you just passively say to someone, they can forget it. Oh, they can forget it. They even will forget it. But you see the things you tell people in a story, in the form of a story, the things you story tell with, I'll just say, they never forget. Probably because of your gestures when you're saying the story, your mannerisms sometimes contribute to people not forgetting how you communicated your story. And in the case of writing, how you did present your story, they'll never forget it. But when you passively say something, imagine me coming to tell someone, oh, I sell oranges, and then that'll be it. So I'm just leaving it to you, whether you buy or you don't buy. Okay, yeah. I think last 2 months, we saw a guy selling water, bottled water, in traffic. He was not only hawking the bottled water. When anybody wants to buy the water, he starts telling the people the importance of water. Water will help you do this. Water will help you do that. Blah, 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 blah. And then he caught the attention of somebody, because stories will always get the attention of somebody. And today, he had a depot full of that water, which he was hawking a few months back. And now he's distributing. You see how he moved from hawking the water to distributing the water. True life story. It's on the internet everywhere. For the because I cannot just mention the name of the brand, you can just check on those blogs. It was all over the blogs where the guy was, just talking about it. He didn't even do that with the intention of having a depot. He did that so that someone can buy the water he was hawking at the time. But when he started with all of those stories, why water is important, blah, 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 he was picked up from that traffic, and then he gained attention, the attention of the public, and then eventually the attention of the brand of the water he was selling at that time. Stories can elevate you from 0 to 100. Believe it or not. They can take you to the point that you have struggled to get to. But yes, I think we have a few people wanting to contribute. 09073530044. We have just a few more minutes. You can say a thing or two as regards this. That is absolutely welcome. On 09087668888 as well. Stories are powerful. If you can use them to make someone believe you, why can't you use them to grow your business? Why can't you use them for building brands, building sustainable things that will stand the test of time? So your business may not have such an artistic or artisanal roots like that of the Alice story that I just read out to you, nor the same commitment to quality and ingredients just like Alice. Yet, if you dig into the motivations and behind your idea, you can find a business story that expresses your personalities, the personality of your team, and the personality of your business as well. Hello.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon to you.
How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Are you close to your radio? I'm hearing that very distorting sound.
No.
All right, let's hear you.
I just want to extend greetings to you. It's been long I did not hear from you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for that. All right, we'll do. Do have a lovely day. All right. All right. All right. Let's hear you if you have any contribution as well. But yes, like I was saying, if you dig deep into the motivations behind your idea, you can always find a business story, that expresses your personality, the personality of your team, and show off your desire to do something differently. Everybody is into real estate. Everybody is into buying and selling. What makes you different? The thing that makes you different is your story. What took you there in the first place? What made you think about that in the first place? That is your story. Now, the art of storytelling in business, it can help you, forge the identity of your company, create brand awareness, and help people understand it as more than just a seller, understand you as just more than just, a seller of products and services, but a personal adventure that other people can relate to. And that is why I refer to your business as a personality, just like you. I hope someone found this helpful. I honestly do hope that someone found this helpful. Tomorrow we might continue this conversation. We will continue this conversation, from where we have left it. Now, for the purpose of everyone listening, you might want to share with us your brand story, here on radio tomorrow, same time, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. so that, let's just share that story of your brand and let's see what you're building. There might be someone here who will be looking to, partake in that business as well. Thank you so much. Stay tuned for tomorrow. We will be talking about, all of these conversations and how to attract investors with an irresistible story that makes your company shine. Do not go anywhere. It's Martha. And the last hour of the day will be the Girlfriend Show. I have my girls pulling up here any moment, and then we'll be having a conversation. Do not go anywhere. You definitely want to be a part of that conversation. I promise.
Eagles, yeah.